Joe Ascrizzi's careful touch, past grandeur, reveals itself at a painstaking pace.
It's like one of those forensic programs, right? You have to sort of scrape and test this and test that.
Gifted carpenter, painter, and sculptor, Ascrizzi refers to himself as a restorer.
Is if you're working on something that has real quality and real age, and it instructs you as to what to do.
Restoring centuries-old frames, columns, and even furniture to their original beauty also requires Ascrizzi to be part detective.
This is a mystery. That is a mystery.
He calls it the mystery of the making, and his passion lies in figuring out how long-ago masters crafted their works.
How did they do that? How did they make it look like that? Because all the paints that I bought at the art supply store, I couldn't get it to look like that.
Ascrizzi has heard the call of frames, moldings, and sculptures to be brought back to life ever since he walked into an antique store in the early 1970s.
And they had an old frame there, and I commented on it, and the guy said, "Oh yeah, it's all broken up though," and stuff. I says, "Oh, I could fix that." You could fix that? It was the first time I realized that there might be a demand for something like that.
It is also quite lucrative. His sedate, often ancient restorative work graces numerous college campuses, the halls of the Portland Museum of Art, opera houses, and even the Maine State Supreme Court, while collectors clamor for his original creations, which in contrast are playful and cutting edge, everything from jewelry to puppets to wooden armoires.
Can't go to the hardware store and say, "You know, I got this idea. You have anything like that?" Doesn't work.
Ascrizzi loves to work with wood. In fact, he can't resist it. Every walk in the forest, every delivery of firewood turns out a steady stream of logs, branches, and twigs that he dries and then transforms. He built his Tolstoy-esque home, and he even uses them to make musical instruments.
I've made a bunch of them for Christmas gift.
It is safe to say that Joe Ascrizzi is the ultimate Renaissance man, a time period, by the way, that he's completely comfortable in, since most of his techniques thrived then. It was back in the late 1950s, when Ascrizzi was living briefly in Italy, that he learned how to mix paints from raw materials, how to make gesso.
It's a sculptural material. It can be sanded, it can be carved, it can be scratched into.
He even gilds from scratch, starting out with gold leaf so thin it would disintegrate under the touch of a finger. He applies it to wood with old-style rabbit skin glue and then burnishes it with polished stones. Ascrizzi says the last 10 years have yielded a resurgence in such ancient arts.
There is an interest to some of them, and there's an interest to materials, real raw materials.
Materials and skills, he says, are a direct link to arts as old as Egypt.
The tools have not changed, neither have the materials changed, nor the process changed in 3,000–4,000 years.
Ascrizzi is trusting they will continue for another 3,000 to 4,000 years.
Well, you know, I grew up in New York.